What's up, folks? Today we're going to talk about the emotional vibration scale. And if you understand this, you will become extremely self aware. And understanding this is very important when it comes to manifesting or creating the life that you want, achieving your goals, and becoming more successful. So let's begin with the lower self. The lower self is the state of being where your ego is extremely strong and you have this energy of, it's me against the world, and I must take and I must fight and I must bleed for my place in the world because everyone and everything is out to get me. The frame here comes from a competitive frame and not a collaborative one. Okay, and you have extremely negative beliefs about success, negative beliefs about yourself, as we'll see shortly, right? So let's begin with apathy, guilt, and shame. Apathy is the belief of, complete hopelessness. Whatever I do fails. I only attract bad things, so, why even try, right? Guilt is essentially this extreme self-rejection, self-hate, masochism, and, feeling bad for yourself. And this is the place where you self-sabotage a lot. And shame. Maybe you were humiliated in the past and you're not able to let go of that shame. Maybe you feel a lot of shame for your desires, right? So these energies have the lowest life force of 25. Okay. Now, one level above that is grief. And grief and depression are used interchangeably here, but grief is just this prolonged sort of like sadness. You're always dissatisfied, unhappy about your own life, and you wish you were more. You don't love yourself. You wish you were more good looking, or you're always comparing yourself with others. Oh, I should have made so much money by this age, or I should have done this, I should have done that, and you're constantly comparing yourself with others, and that makes you sad. All right. Why can't the world treat me right? Why can't the world treat me with respect or whatever, right? So that's grief. And then you have fear. Fear is when you're always looking at the world as, some kind of enemy, right? Everyone's out to get you. And you see danger everywhere you go. And it's defensive, extremely preoccupied with security, and also possessiveness of others. And I'm sure a lot of people that are in relationships, maybe you have a girlfriend or a wife, extremely possessive because you fear losing them to someone else, right? So that's fear. And then you have wanting. This is where, it's slightly better than these lower vibrations because when you're in a state of wanting, there's a desire to make changes. Okay, you're aware of your situation. You're overweight, or maybe you're not making the amount of money that you want, but you're aware that there are solutions and you start looking into them and you're in a state of wanting to change. So even though that's a low vibrational state, it's actually a good start, okay? Because now you're dreaming. Now you know that there are possibilities. Anger, right? If you listen to a lot of rap music, it's there's a lot of anger underneath that music. How dare you underestimate me? You don't know what I'm capable of, and I'm gonna become successful, and then I'm gonna laugh at you. Just watch me do it. It's a lot of anger underneath it, and anger can be a huge motivator for you to go out there and take action and make things happen. But it also leaves you feeling drained at the end of the day, and it's not possible to it runs out. Okay, it's a fire that burns fast and runs out, and it can be great for temporary motivation to just push you to take action, but it's not sustainable. The next one up here is pride, and your ego is the biggest, right? Because the lower self represents the ego. Your ego is the biggest when you're in pride. And a lot of politicians, a lot of fitness gurus even, I have a PhD, therefore I can't be wrong. And my way of doing things is the best. And my advice is the only advice that works, right? And the problem with pride is people develop this blind spot and you stop seeing, you have a very limited perspective and you're unable to see things from other people's viewpoint. And which is why your growth stops as a person because you think that you're perfect and you could do no wrong, right? So that's it for this video, really. We went over all the emotions that constitute the lower self, and I'm going to do higher self in the next one. But what I'm trying to say is we feel all of these emotions on a regular basis, right? It's very natural for us to feel these emotions, and these emotions aren't bad. But what is bad is when it becomes a permanent state of being, when you're permanently caught in a state of grief, or you're permanently in fear, or you're permanently in wanting, So holding on to these emotions is something that will eventually drain you of your energy, that causes a lot of disease within the body as well if it's not let go of. And if you're someone who, wants to lose weight, or you want to start a business, or you want to make some sort of change, attract more abundance or wealth into your life, being here is good for actually starting out, okay? Over here, you start actually realizing that, hey, there are things that you can do to make your life better, the realization that you need to change, and you can see possibilities. But staying there is extremely draining, and you won't be you have to push a lot, because like I said, from this viewpoint, you're looking at the world as an enemy. It's got this me against the world kind of mentality, and I've got to fight and I've got to compete with everyone else to make things happen, right? It puts a lot of pressure on the individual and on your psyche. Everything feels 100 pounds heavier than it should be. It's because of these energies that you carry with you.